Nestled at the crossroads of the continent, Cameroon is known as Africa in miniature. Its geographical and ethnic diversity harbors a wealth of natural and human resources. But with the current trends in the global economy, this potential does not come without a price. The Cameroonian Joining Hands partner network, RELUFA, and its companions from the presbyteries of Chicago and of the Twin Cities area take up systemic injustices at the national and global levels that are behind the faces of hunger and poverty in local communities. RELUFA identified the so-called resource curse as the most poignant manifestation of global forces impinging upon the Central African territory. The region's abundant wealth in natural resources does not trickle down to the majority of its people living off less than $2 a day. Rather than improving living standards, oil, gas, and mining industries often cost poor communities their livelihood, their drinking water, and their natural environment. The vast revenues generated in this lucrative sector tend to prop up corrupt leaders and support warfare at the expense of democratic processes. Building on the observations and experiences of a few of its member organizations, RELUFA took the Chad-Cameroon oil pipeline project as a case study. For 5 years now, Chadian oil has been flowing across Cameroon's mainland, filling the coffers of U.S. oil companies ExxonMobil and Chevron, which together hold a majority equity share in the project. But many affected by the construction are still awaiting reparations for their sustained losses.
Et ça a provoqué donc une digue artificielle qui renvoie l'eau et qui inonde toute ma surface cultivable. Tout son cacaoyer qui est à côté là, tout a été détruit. Bon, on vous a attendu, viens. On a écrit des requêtes, viens, on va passer. Ça fait 3 ans.
A network team traveled along the pipeline tract and collected hundreds of claims from communities and individuals. Invited to the negotiation table by the World Bank, they confronted representatives from the Cameroonian government and the top leadership of oil company's Cameroonian subsidiary, COTCO, with these charges. The parties now meet regularly, and RELUFA defends the cause of the people. The network also accompanies the project stakeholders to affected communities so claimants can express their grievances face to face.
S'ils n'arrangent pas nos problèmes, un jour quand ils vont descendre au chemin, on ne va pas mourir, on va les chasser. On va chasser la paix.
Early on, the network drew the attention of the 4 Cameroonian member denominations of the World Alliance of Reformed Churches, WARC, to these inequities. A RELUFA task force worked with their national leadership to submit a signed declaration to the 2004 General Council of WARC in Accra. In their joint call, they asked the global family of the Reformed tradition to endorse worldwide transparency initiatives like Publish What You Pay. To fight corruption associated with extractive industries, this campaign seeks disclosure of financial transactions and contractual agreements between multinationals operating in this sector and their host governments. Following this request, RELUFA's Joining Hands partners from Chicago Presbytery began advocating for the Presbyterian Church USA to become a coalition member of the Publish What You Pay campaign.
Chicago Joining Hands is very familiar with the Publish What You Pay campaign, and we intend to take it forth to our local presbytery, Chicago Presbytery, and we will ask them to overture the General Assembly. It is helpful to go and to say that this is what RELUFA has asked us to do. It is helpful to be able to go and say to our Presbyterian Church that we are members of the World Alliance of Reformed Churches, and this is what they have asked us to do. And it is also helpful for us to be able to say to our church that this is just, this is fair, this is righteous, this is what we are called to do.
The 218th General Assembly of 2008 in San Jose overwhelmingly voted in favor of the Presbytery's overture proposing that action. The PCUSA now joins the lobby for the Extractive Industries Transparency Disclosure Act, recently introduced by Massachusetts Democratic Representative and Chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, Barney Frank. In the meantime, RELUFA prepares to host a regional capacity building program for civil groups to better monitor resource revenue management by their governments. For many at the grassroots, however, Advocacy for equity and transparency in the extractive industries is too abstract a concept to satisfy as a poverty reduction strategy. This program is therefore complemented with the network's microfinance initiative, Credit Against Poverty, CAP, to meet the more tangible needs of target groups affiliated with RELUFA member organizations. CAP offers a variety of loan products. CAP Holidays, for example, is geared toward university and high school students, enabling them to undertake small business ventures during the long and often idle summer break. RELUFA celebrated the 2008 International Women's Day by launching CAP for Women, aimed at the self-development of society's underprivileged gender. Upon the request from subsistence farmers in the far north, CAP Education helps pay their children's tuition at the beginning of the new school year. Loan reimbursement is ensured later in the year from the yield of their modest cotton production. RELUFA has, since the launch of the program, been able to disburse over 200 CAP loans to beneficiaries affiliated with 9 different member organizations. Besides reaping the benefits from CAP, vulnerable communities in the semi-Saharan Far North province are thriving through their participation in the network's food sovereignty program. Having been organized to run their own communal grain banks, farmers in 34 villages now ward off speculators at harvest time. Instead of selling their yields to merchants who hoard the produce to maximize profits later in the year, the crops are stored in the village granary. When families run out of their own reserves, they can take grains on in-kind credit and pay back this loan from the next sorghum harvest later in the year. Children are enjoying better nutrition year-round as their mothers no longer have to stretch the household flour supply to bridge the lean season. Fathers, brothers, and uncles need not leave the village to sell their labor for food, but stay with the family and cultivate their own plots. In the village of Gagala alone, 40 children who dropped out of school for the lack of money have returned to class. On the global scene, Cameroonian farmers do not stand a fair chance. Agricultural subsidies by American and European governments distort international trade rules. Trade agreements further compound the impact of these subventions as the import of cheaper subsidized products spoils the opportunity for Cameroonian producers to develop a local economy with their merchandise. Besides, trade agreements allow foreign companies to encroach on the fields of local subsistence farmers who lack the legal protection and counsel on land ownership rights. Cultivating rich volcanic soil, producers associated with one of RELUFA's member organizations grow and dry fruits for an equitable trade partnership with Swiss churches. Some of them are among 43 family heads who were expelled from their fields in 1999 to make way for vast plantations of a French banana export business affiliated with the American Dole Food Company Incorporated. Mr. Foka, for example, lost 5 of his 7 acres and is still fighting compensation issues in the courts. Others have been offered jobs as day laborers in the banana plantations, but earning less than minimum wage for a 10 to 12-hour day of hard physical labor under unhealthy working conditions is hardly dignifying.
On avait 63 hectares qu'on travaillait ensemble et chacun avait sa parcelle. Bon, ma parcelle, il y avait au moins 10 hectares d'exploitation. 10 hectares dans 63 hectares, nous avons détruit en 1999.
Moi, j'avais 3 hectares. Il y avait 1 hectare et demi.
J'avais 3 hectares.
Dans le groupe, j'avais 2,5. J'avais 46 hectares.
Oui, moi, j'avais 5 hectares dans l'ancien groupe.
On nous a détruits en 99, dans lesquels j'avais 4 hectares et demi.
I don't know if they could appreciate this, but bananas in the grocery business, in the retail business, are priced as a come-on. They're priced very cheaply, and just stacks and stacks and stacks of bananas, and we just are mindless about it.
While raising awareness about the struggles of Cameroonian fruit farmers against the world's largest fresh fruit producer, RELUFA is organizing to offer American consumers an alternative, grown and processed according to fair trade standards by producers affiliated with the network, dried pineapple, mango, papaya, and banana will soon be marketed in the U.S. through Partners for Just Trade. The complexity of issues reflected in RELUFA's programs demands a comprehensive response from faith communities in the U.S., lobbying for legislation to counter the rise of corrupt and oppressive regimes, objecting to policies that distort agricultural subsidies, and protesting against trade agreements that harm smallholders in the U.S. and abroad, all require constituents to get informed and raise their voices to decision makers at national and global levels. At the same time, the communal grain banks, Credit Against Poverty, and Fair Fruits offer hands-on opportunities to more directly impact the lives of poor Cameroonians at the grassroots. Let us join together hands so all may have life in fullness.